Hello and welcome back to Curb Stomp City and the last episode of ECW Lives before Global Glory 2002. So we've got 2 episodes of ECW Revolt in this episode. We're going to finalise the main event of the show and we're also going to build up to a few other matches as well. So if you're excited for Global Glory, make sure you hit the like button, and when we hit 125 likes, it will go on Patreon. Then 24 hours later, it will be on the channel. But yeah, let's get straight into the first Revolt. And we start with a pre-show match. I just wanted to test out a new team of Jushin Liger and Dragon Kid. And apparently Dragon Kid and Jushin Liger don't work well as a team. So that idea is out the window. I thought it would be a nice team called the Thunder Dragons, but apparently not. But yeah, and the Chain Gang 2, which is the Briscoes, defeated Thunder Dragons in 6 minutes 13 when Mark Briscoe defeated Dragon Kid by pinfall with a Briscoe bottom. And John Cena did some good work at ringside. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with the Chain Gang at Global Glory, but we'll build to it probably next week on Revolt with an announcement there. But Jushin Liger got a 59, so the best in the match. Dragon Kid with 46, better than Jay Briscoe, who had a 38, and 51 for Mark. So yeah, he did well there, Mark Briscoe. And we've got a 54 C-, so that's not bad for a pre-show match. And then we go to another pre-show match, and this is just a junior heavyweight division match. And this person here you might not recognise, but it's actually Kendo Kashin without his mask on. And you might remember recently we were told that Kendo Kashin's gimmick was getting stale or something along those lines. So I've decided to take his mask off, and he's going to now be an MMA guy. Well, I'm going to change his gimmick in a minute. As you can see, he's not suited to his current one, and he seemed off his game. But he got the win in this match, and he pinned Kaz Hayashi, who's going down to developmental for a while, just to give him some time in matches. He hasn't done a lot. I don't know how long he's going to be down there. Probably not very long, but he's been offered a developmental deal anyway for a 6-month contract, I think it is. But we can always call him up again whenever we need him. And this is a 55 C-. Yeah, we need to change his gimmick, so complete gimmick change. And he's switched to MMA Badass. And the change was too soon after his last one, but it got an above average, which is actually better than his last one, so that's good, I guess. And then we start the actual show with a video hyping tonight's show. And it begins with highlights of the Prince of the Super Junior's final night. And Fergal Devitt is celebrating his huge Prince of the Super Junior's win. And tonight he will be officially crowned Prince Devitt. And then CM Punk is then shown challenging Rob Van Dam to a ladder match last week on Revolt. And he wants a ladder match for the title at Global Glory. And how will Rob respond? And then Minoru Tanaka is shown losing to AJ Styles in a champion versus champion match, which happened on the final night of the Prince of the Super Juniors, if you remember. And tonight, Tanaka seeks redemption in another champion versus champion bout. This time, he will take on ECW World Television Champion CM Punk. And finally, last week's Revolt saw Sting and Rhino face off in a grueling cage match for the number 1 contendership. But who is the number 1 contender, and who will main event Global Glory, and who will challenge for Minoru Tanaka's ECW World Heavyweight Championship? So if you remember, they hit the ground at the same time in the cage match, which was an escape only match. And then tonight, Paul Heyman returns to address the issue. So this got a 70 C+, so that's basically what's going to happen tonight. And yeah, nice little video at the start of the show. And then the show opens with a zoomed in shot of the Prince of the Super Junior's crown, which is on like a skull thing that I found on Google Images. You'll see that on the screen now. And then Devitt's music hits to a big cheer from the crowd, and he walks down to the ring and gets a microphone. And he says, "This week has been the biggest of my entire life. But before we go any further, I want to call out my friend and Global Glory opponent, AJ Styles. And AJ Styles hits as he enters with his ECW World Junior Heavyweight Championship around his waist. And he says, "First, I'd like to thank you for being a great friend and supporting me through this whole process. We've grown together and it means a lot to me that my first ever singles title opportunity is against the man that gets the very best out of me." And AJ and Devitt hug it out, and then AJ picks up the crown and hands it to Devitt. And AJ Styles says, "Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for Prince Devitt." And this got a 49D+, but then Low Key's music interrupts as he enters with Rhino by his side. And Rhino says, "You guys, how sweet is this? So sweet that it makes us feel sick." And then Low Key says, "So this is the top of the junior heavyweight division. You two kissing each other's ass. Aren't you supposed to be fighting each other in 2 weeks?" And as Low Key and Rayner get closer to the ring, Kevin Steen is shown climbing into the ring behind Devitt and Styles. And Low Key says, "If you're such good friends and partners, why don't you team up tonight against me and Steen?" And then AJ and Devitt look at each other, wondering why Steen's name is even brought up. And then they turn around and they walk into a double clothesline. And then Low Key gets into the ring and joins the beatdown. And then we go to a commercial break. And when we come back, the match has begun. So this actually got a 65C, so much better than the last segment. And then in a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, the Phenomenals defeat the Blitz in 10 minutes 26 when Prince Devitt defeated Low Key by submission with a Devitt's end. And yeah, I've called them the Blitz. This is another team that I want to test out because I literally haven't got a tag division at the minute. But in terms of in-ring work, AJ Styles was head and shoulders above everyone else. And this got a 59C, 49 from Devitt, 66 from Styles, 46 from Steen, 55 from Low Key. And a solid match, I think. And then in an extremely short match, Samoa Joe defeated Spike in 3 minutes 30 by submission with a Dragon Sleeper. And Bula McGillicuddy was apparently at ringside with Spike. I didn't mean to have that on there. But yeah, let's just pretend that didn't happen. And 72 from Joe, so solid from him. 35 from Spike, not so great. 52D+. And then after the match, Samoa Joe keeps the Coquina Clutch locked in, even though he won with a Dragon Sleep with it. And then suddenly a video begins to play on the Titantron. And then Joe lets go of Spike and turns his attention to the video. And after the clip, Samoa Joe is seen smirking. Does he know who it is? And the He's Coming storyline has started with this segment. And this segment actually involves the person that it's going to be. He's signed his contract. And this is based on his overness, Samoa Joe's menace, and Spike's selling. And as you can see, we've got an 80B. Let me know in the comments who you think it is, but it's going to be big. But yeah, 80B, he's coming. And then in a bout that had great wrestling and good heat, Minoru Tanaka defeats CM Punk in 15 minutes 10 by pinfall. During the match, we also had Rob Van Dam run in and attack CM Punk. So he's cost him the match. Minoru Tanaka gets the win after the loss to AJ, and he's bounced back with a good win over the television champion. And the match got the crowd hot. CM Punk had an in-ring performance of 64. Minoru Tanaka with a solid 80 and 73B-. And then after the match, Minoru Tanaka rolls out of the ring whilst Rob Van Dam grabs a ladder from under the ring. And he pushes it into the ring as CM Punk attempts to get to his feet. Rob Van Dam kicks Punk in the side of the ribs to put him back down. RVD lays the ladder on top of Punk and grabs a mic and puts his foot on top of the ladder and says, "You made a big mistake, Punk. Welcome to my world." And then RVD runs off the ropes and hits a rolling thunder onto the ladder, crushing Punk below. And then RVD slowly leaves the arena whilst getting into fans' faces. And then the EMTs then help Punk to the back whilst he holds his ribs. And this got a 71C+, and the angle got the crowd hotter, and the segment apparently deserved better colour commentary. Not something I see often. But yeah, 71C, solid. And then Paul Heyman enters the arena wearing a neck brace, and he's helped into the ring by Minoru Tanaka, who is still at ringside. And Paul says, "I know you've all been worried about my health, but that savage Rhino's attack on me is only the beginning of his downfall. And I have returned tonight to announce the main event of Global Glory. And I've considered all of my options, and I have come to a conclusion. But first, I'd like to invite Sting and Rhino to the ring." And Sting enters the arena first, then followed by Rhino. And then Paul says, "Rhino, you wanted to push my buttons and get your title rematch. You got it. Sting, you wanted to show how you are the best around. You got it too. And you two had one of the most brutal cage matches I have ever seen. And all evidence suggests that you both escaped the cage at the same time. So, at Global Glory, you'll be locked inside another cage, but this time there is no escape in ECW's first ever Hell in a Cell." And then Tanaka looks at Heyman confused as Paul leaves the arena. Obviously Paul hasn't ran this past Tanaka, but he finds himself in the Hell in a Cell match, and the three biggest names in ECW will go head to head. And it's going to be pretty good, I think. Hopefully we get a really good rating for that match. If this segment suggests anything, it says that we will be getting something good with an 81B. And the segment deserved better announcing, apparently. I don't know what's happened to the commentators. Why are they suddenly bad? And apparently Paul Heyman looked lost out there, despite the fact that we got an 81B. So it might have been even better had that not happened. And the main event of Glory storyline has advanced with this segment. And we got a 73B- overall. And this show increased our popularity in 20 regions. And after that, I just need to quickly call up Kevin Steen from Developmental. I was borrowing him last time. But yeah, he's actually officially on the roster again after a bit of time in Developmental. And while we're here, we may as well look how he did. And he had a few matches, high to mid 50s basically throughout his run in Developmental. And in terms of emails, we've got Sting saying that Dragon Kid is too small in his opinion. The kid has no upside. Bit harsh. He's a junior heavyweight. And then ECW Revolt got a 4.89, which is our best ever TV rating once again. And there's not really a lot I can do without spoiling the signing that's interrupting Samoa Joe. So I'm just going to have to go straight to the next show. And before we get into the last Revolt before Global Glory, which will be a 2-hour special, we've got a backstage incident, and Rhino has annoyed Dragon Kid by constantly mocking his lack of push. So I'm not really sure how to deal with this one. I don't want to go too harsh because I don't want to annoy Rhino, but I don't want to seem soft and annoy other people. So I think we're just going to go with a stern warning. And brilliant, we annoyed Rhino. But on the plus side, we've got a 51 backstage rating now, which is much better than before. And hopefully it goes up even more before Global Glory. So I've finally written the show. It's took me a while. And this has probably been the most difficult show to write because I want to get it just right. And tonight's going to be the first ever 2-hour Revolt, and Global Glory will be the first ever 3-hour pay-per-view since the series started. The show kicks off with Prince Devitt's music, and he walks to the ring holding a microphone. And he says, "Last week, me and AJ Styles showed why our match will steal the show at Global Glory, and we have great chemistry, which is why we are such a good team, but on Sunday we will be a po." And then AJ Styles' music interrupts him halfway through. Styles walks to the ring, also holding a microphone, and then he says, "Ferg, I know what you're about to say, so let me cut you off right there. This Sunday, we will go 1-on-1, and when it comes down to the ECW World Junior Heavyweight Championship," and then AJ holds his belt in the air, "there is nobody on this planet that can take it away from me, and we won't be friends when I flip you upside down and smash your face into the canvas with the Styles Clash. We will be enemies." And then the two men drop their microphones and begin to square up whilst trash talking each other. And then Devitt has a confident smirk on his face. So the friendship is starting to get heated heading into Global Glory this Sunday. And both men want that championship. And this got a 56 C-. And the angle got the show off to a strong start, got the crowd hotter. The colour commentary gave the segment a boost and announcing quality lifted the segment. And then a video airs, and after last week's assault by Rob Van Dam on CM Punk, tonight Punk will provide an injury update. So it's got a 55 C- as well. And then this match is the number one contendership for the GPWC World Heavyweight Championship, which we haven't seen on ECW in a while. But if you remember, Keiji Muto is the champion and he's been working in New Japan. I'm not sure whether he's been defending the title, but hopefully he has. But we haven't had him on the show in a while. I just wanted to write that championship off for a bit and give it to someone that was in New Japan. And yeah, Yuji Nagata defeated Kaz Hayashi, Vampiro, and Just Incredible in 10 minutes 01 when Yuji Nagata defeated Kaz Hayashi by pinfall with an exploder. And Yuji Nagata carried the match in terms of in-ring performance, so that's good. And apparently Vampiro's gimmick is getting stale. The crowd got hotter. 58 for Hayashi, 61 for Vampiro. Really good from Nagata with a 75, and Just Incredible got a 55. So yeah, there will be a GPWC World Heavyweight Championship match at Global Glory. Yuji Nagata taking on Keiji Muto. And he's a main eventer in New Japan. If you're a fan of New Japan in real life, I'm sure you know who he is, but he's a very hard-hitting, strong style worker. And yeah, he's not someone to be messed with, and he's going to be at Global Glory. And 59C for that. And then Minoru Tanaka confronts Paul Heyman backstage after what happened last week when Paul Heyman announced the Hell in a Cell match triple threat. And he says, "What is going on, Paul? A Hell in a Cell match? But not only that, but a triple threat Hell in a Cell match. And do you want me to lose my title?" And then Paul says, "Minoru, you are the ECW World Heavyweight Champion, remember? And you won that championship in a fatal four-way. Triple threat? That's nothing. And Hell in a Cell? That's nothing to the true champion of the wrestling world. And tonight, all three competitors have a warm-up match, and yours will be against Dragon Kid. He's good, but take him down. And then later tonight, I want you to show the world that nothing intimidates the brightest star in wrestling." And then Tanaka looks pumped up, ready for his match next. So Tanaka's got a bit of doubt in his mind, but Paul Heyman, using that Heyman Kool-Aid that he has to motivate people. He's trying to motivate his champion. And Paul Heyman wants the biggest main event possible for his show, and he's got his guy in there. The only way he can walk away from Global Glory is when he is at his most confident and best. So yeah, Paul Heyman's trying to get the best out of Tanaka and making sure that he doesn't worry about the championship match. And Paul Heyman was very underwhelming apparently, and Minoru Tanaka looked good, but this got a 69C+, so good promo. Perhaps could have been better. I don't know what's happened to Heyman recently, but he's been underwhelming a couple of times I think now. But yeah, 69C+ is not bad. And then we go into the match. A good showcase for Dragon Kid, someone we're trying to build up, but Tanaka gets the win in 10 minutes 26 by pinfall. And yeah, Dragon Kid's gone 10 minutes with the World Heavyweight Champion, but he's not quite good enough yet. And Dragon Kid is getting better at his gimmick. This match was poorly placed. The crowd were already hot and didn't need working. So with this one, I've put work the crowd on. It was supposed to start the show. I think I moved it without actually changing that note. But still, Tanaka got an 81. 51 for Dragon Kid, so not bad from him. And this should help boost his popularity as well. Dragon Kid is getting better at his gimmick, but yeah, a win for the champion going into Sunday. 65C overall. Could have been better had I not made that mistake, but we move on. And then in an extremely short match, Samoa Joe defeats Low Key in 4 minutes 41 by submission with a Dragon Sleeper. And Samoa Joe had an in-ring performance of 79, Really good from Joe. 52 from Low Ki. 72 B-. Not what I was expecting from this match. I was expecting maybe a C. C plus at best, but B-. I'll take that all day. So yeah, submission win. A fast submission win against Low Ki. And then as Samoa Joe celebrates his victory, he signals to the entranceway as he looks like he's calling somebody out. And obviously he's trying to get the attention of whoever's playing these videos at Samoa Joe. And he said, and then Kevin Steen grabs the mic and interrupts. And he says, "Hey Joe, forget your little mystery man. We ain't finished with you. Ref, ring the bell. I'm about to teach you a lesson." So, Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen's tag team partners just lost against Samoa Joe. Now Steen wants to prove a point and take on Samoa Joe himself. And this got a 64C. But despite the courage of Kevin Steen, Samoa Joe defeats Kevin Steen in 3 minutes 41. So even quicker than what he beat Low Ki by stoppage this time. Kevin Steen could not continue. Samoa Joe has ran through Steen and Low Ki, building lots of momentum towards Global Glory. And 79 again from Joe, 52 from Steen, so not too bad from him. And 56 C-, so not quite as good as the last match, but I'll take it. And Samoa Joe gets 2 wins in one night, makes him look good. There's no plans for Steen and Low Ki at the minute, and so yeah, they were worth jobbing out, I guess, to build up Samoa Joe as once again a dominant competitor. And then, here we go, Steen and Low Ki stumble to the back as Joe grabs a mic. And Samoa Joe says, "I am the Samoan submission machine. I am unstoppable. And whether it's one man, 2 men, or any man in this universe, I will not be intimidated. I will not be beaten, and I will destroy everything." And then the lights go out as a video plays on the screen. And after the video, the stage fills up with smoke and a figure can be seen walking out. And as the smoke fades away, the figure becomes clearer. And oh my God, is that Goldberg? And then Goldberg performs his signature entrance as he storms through the pyros, and Samoa Joe paces backwards and forwards in the ring. And Goldberg climbs into the ring as Samoa Joe attempts a clothesline, and Goldberg ducks it as Joe turns right into a huge spear. And then Goldberg taunts, picks Joe up and tries to lift him up for a jackhammer. And Joe manages to roll out of the ring, but he cannot get to his feet. He crawls to the back, holding his midsection, and Goldberg taunts to the crowd, and the man is here. The video packages have finally been answered. A few people guessed it. It is Goldberg. What a signing this is for ECW going forward to challenge WWF. And this got a 90A. Goldberg is bringing in the ratings. That's exactly why we signed him. And he's going to take on Samoa Joe at Global Glory. And Goldberg has debuted the animal gimmick and has got an initial rating of very good. The segment deserved better than announcing commentary. Again, why is that happening? And the He's Coming storyline has advanced and gained heat with this segment. 90A, I can't complain about that at all. Really good from Goldberg on his debut segment on television, and business is picking up now towards Global Glory. We've got a major star in the door, and he's going to take on the seemingly unbeatable at the minute Samoa Joe. And that's exactly why we needed to make him have 2 wins tonight to really build him up. Recently he did lose to Rhino, so we needed to build him up within like a few weeks, and I think we've done it pretty well. But yeah, 90A, and Goldberg is here. And then in a bout that had great wrestling and good heat, Rhino defeats Sabu in 10 minutes 02 by pinfall with a gore. And this got a 78B. Really good. Rhino had an in-ring performance of 80, 65 for Sabu. And again, Paul Heyman was talking about earlier how all 3 of the Hell in the Cell competitors will have a match tonight, and this is Rhino's. Sting's going to be main eventing tonight against Jushin Liger, so that should be a good match. I don't think that's ever happened even in real life. I don't think that matchup's ever happened. I looked up online to see if I could find it. So I think it's a first. I might be wrong. But yeah, it should be a good main event. And this is a good match as well. It's a solid rating so far. I'm looking forward to seeing the overall rating of this show. Hopefully I haven't made any mistakes that will deduct anything from the ratings. And then CM Punk's music hits as he enters the arena with taped up ribs. And he says, last week, Rob Van Dam got me good. An x-ray show that I have suffered 2 fractured ribs. And doctors say I will not be able to compete tonight or this Sunday at Global Glory. And then Punk struggles out of the ring, but then he grabs a ladder from underneath the ring and pushes it into the ring, and he sets it up in the center and begins to slowly climb it. He is visibly in pain, and he reaches the top or the ROP of the ladder and says, but there is no way in hell I am forfeiting my ECW World Television Championship. Rob Van Dam wants to take this championship away from me and all of you. So he wants to take it back to Japan with him when he leaves when his loan is complete. And he says this Sunday is not just CM Punk versus Rob Van Dam. It is ECW versus Rob Van Dam. And I, CM Punk, vow to defend the honor of this championship. And I may be hurting, but CM Punk will not be defeated. ECW will not be defeated. And then Rob Van Dam's music hits. So this got a 61C, and I've had to fit the rest into another segment, so we'll get straight there. And RVD rushes to the ring and pushes the ladder over as CM Punk crashes to the floor and rolls out of the ring in further agony. And Rob Van Dam follows Punk and reins in punches and kicks as Punk tries to cover up to no avail. And then Prince Devitt and AJ Styles rush to the ring and restrain RVD from getting to CM Punk ahead of tonight's next match, Rob Van Dam versus AJ Styles. And then Devitt helps Punk to the back as AJ and Rob Van Dam get ready for the next match. So Rob Van Dam is seriously putting the punishment on CM Punk. CM Punk is now the huge underdog. He goes in with 2 fractured ribs. He's going to be in a lot of pain. Climbing a ladder is going to be extremely difficult. It was already difficult enough before this segment, and Rob Van Dam's chucked him off a ladder. He's crashed to the floor, potentially and almost certainly making the injury worse. And this got a 59C. I thought this was a good way of also showing that there was still a friendship between Devitt and Styles. The fact that they've come out and helped CM Punk together. And yeah, they're both good guys, and Devitt helps Punk to the back. So yeah, an interesting, different dynamic that I wanted to do with that Styles Devitt match is, everyone goes into matches as enemies, but I wanted to do something a bit different with them. And this hopefully helps that. And Rob Van Dam has a gimmick that is getting stale, apparently. And the announcing quality lifted the segment. The colour commentary gave the segment a boost, and CM Punk came across well. And 59C overall for this segment. And then we go into the match, which is a 78B, another great rating for tonight. And in a battle that had great wrestling and good heat, AJ Styles defeated Rob Van Dam in 14 minutes 38 by pinfall with a quick roll-up. And AJ got a 81 and Rob Van Dam got a 66. 78B overall. So really good match. That's potentially Rob Van Dam's best match since his return. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. And AJ Styles debuted a new spot that showcased his athletic ability. His psychology would be helped by being able to use it as a go-to spot in the future. Also, I've just remembered that CM Punk was supposed to distract Rob Van Dam in this match. It hasn't shown up for some reason. I definitely added it. Potentially a glitch. And also, Rob Van Dam debuted a new power spot that showcased his ability to sell well. His psychology will be helped by being able to use it as a go-to spot in the future. So good for both men. And in a superb match, Sting defeated Jushin Liger in 15 minutes 06 by submission with a Scorpion Deathlock. And this got a 78B. Good stuff. Sting had an in-ring performance of 71 and Jushin Liger had an in-ring performance of 71. and they've achieved a 78B together. Good match. And then we end with this segment, a B plus 88. So Sting celebrates in the ring after a hard fought victory against Jushin Liger. And then Minoru Tanaka walks to the ring with his golden robe and his ECW World Heavyweight Championship over his shoulder. And he goes face to face with Sting. And in the background, Rhino can be seen entering through the crowd. He climbs into the ring as both men turn to look at Rhino. And Tanaka holds his championship in the air with confidence. Last week he looked intimidated, but tonight Tanaka is a different man. And the show goes off air as the video hypes the Hell in a Cell match at Global Glory. So this got an 88B plus, all three men in the ring. Tanaka has been pumped up by Heyman and he's going into the match full of confidence. Rhino's looking for redemption and Sting wants to show that he is the icon. And the segment deserved better colour commentary again. Might have to put Heyman on colour for Global Glory. And the main event of Glory storyline has advanced with this segment and has gained heat. 88B plus, really good ending. Let's see what this show got overall. And it got an 80B. I hoped for a B plus there because of the ending and the Goldberg segment. But yeah, I think that's probably fair. A lot of the matches were Bs, so it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, 80B overall. Let's hope Global Glory will be even better. And this show increased our popularity in 20 regions. And I think we've built up to the matches pretty well. And we've got some emails following that. And Sting doesn't think Dragon Kid gets it. We're going to give him time. Kevin Steen doesn't connect with the fans, according to Goldberg. 4.96. I'm pretty sure that's our highest TV rating ever. Good way to head into the big show. And Samoa Joe is feeling the effects of a golden schedule and has asked to take that into account when booking him. You've got Goldberg, so we might not have a long match anyway. We'll see how that goes. And that show is joint best ever. Not too bad. So hopefully we can make Global Glory 2002 even better. And speaking of Global Glory, let me just take you through the card to remind you. Last year we had a New Japan versus CMLL match, our two fellow Alliance members. And we're going to have another match. This time, Masahiro Chono, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion of New Japan, will take on the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion Universo 2000. So that should be a good match. Two world champions going head to head. And the GPWC World Heavyweight Championship, so the Alliance title, will be defended by Keiji Muto taking on the new number one contender Yuji Nagata. Again, should be a solid match. Two massive stars in Japan going head to head. And the ECW World Tag Team Championships will be defended, but the opponents will be announced at the show itself. And ECW World Junior Heavyweight Championship, AJ Styles, the champion, defends against Prince Devitt, and there's been a stipulation added, and it will be a 2 out of 3 falls match. There will be 3 falls, but only 1 winner. And then Samoa Joe, the Samoan submission machine, will take on the man Goldberg. And that should be a really good match. I'm looking forward to seeing how that rates on the game. The ECW World Television Championship will hopefully be defended by CM Punk, the champion, taking on Rob Van Dam, the man that has said that he's going to leave ECW with the television championship. And if Punk can make it, it's going to be a ladder match. And in the main event of the evening, the ECW World Heavyweight Championship will be defended in ECW's first ever Hell in the Cell. And it's not only a Hell in the Cell, it's a Hell in the Cell triple threat match. And it's going to be Minoru Tanaka defending against Rhino and Sting. So the card is looking pretty stacked and I'm pretty confident about it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the card, and I'd be interested to know your predictions as well. So if you've got this far into the video, let me know who you think's going to win each match. And As always, if you've enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit the like button. When we hit 125 likes, Global Glory will be on Patreon, and then 24 hours later it's going to be on the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more TEW 2016 and general wrestling content. And until next time, peace.